As you know, Travis Scott had his Astroworld music festival not too long ago, and what was supposed to be an amazing night for most of the people involved ended up turning into a night of terror. Well, it seems like the performers at the event, along with some of the producers behind it, are being held accountable for the tragedy that occurred. In today's video, we're going to be talking a bit about the circumstances surrounding those lawsuits and the families involved. Be sure to watch until the end of the video to find about some other lawsuits that Travis Scott has faced in the past. The Astroworld tragedy. As of the time of making this video, 9 people who attended Travis Scott's Astroworld have been pronounced dead. The tragedy occurred after the crowd of over 50,000 people began to rush towards the stage, leaving thousands of fans in the middle of a sea of people gasping for air.
Our barricade even started to break, and the security had to come over to us and start strapping the rail.
It was something that no one could have seen coming, but could have also easily been prevented. Since the tragedy occurred, both Travis and his guest performer Drake have been named in lawsuits stemming from the event. Travis Scott and Drake are being sued. If you look up Astroworld lawsuit on Google, the first thing you are met with are ads asking you if you were one of the victims in the Astroworld tragedy. That should tell you how serious this situation was and is. The first lawsuit that we know about was filed by a San Antonio lawyer known as Thomas J. Henry. Henry claims that he is now representing about 150 people who were involved in the tragedy that occurred at Astroworld. The lawsuit has been filed against Travis, Drake, as well as the producer of the event, Live Nation, all of which are being accused of negligence. The suit is currently asking for more than $1 million in settlement and says that a lot of the damages were caused by the rappers inciting the crowd to go crazy, which ultimately left 9 people dead and countless others injured.
Any corporation involved in Astroworld has the legal responsibility for what happened, and he's now representing more than 120 people in this lawsuit.
Another lawyer by the name of Ben Crump, who has also been known to represent large cases like this, has apparently filed over 100 lawsuits against Travis on behalf of more than 90 people who had attended the event. Ben is the same lawyer who represented the families of Trayvon Martin and George Floyd. Ben has said that this lawsuit is not just about getting justice for them, meaning the victims who were either killed or injured, but it's about making sure the promoters and the organizers know that you cannot allow this to happen ever in the future. And he's right. According to him, there were multiple people who could have done something to bring the concert to a stop, and at that point, they could have given people the help they needed before it was too late. I mean, we spoke about this a bit in an earlier video, but shows have been stopped by performers in the name of crowd safety for a lot less serious situations.
So this lawsuit is not just about getting justice for them, but it's about making sure that the promoters and the organizers know that you cannot allow this to ever happen in the future.
There is no way around it. This tragedy could have and should have been avoided, and that's what a lot of these lawsuits boil down to. As we mentioned before, Drake is also being named in a few of the lawsuits that have come up. While some fans believe that this is fair and that because he was there, he should be held accountable, he still has some fans coming to his side saying that he was just a surprise guest and it's not his fault that things got out of hand as they did. But that's not really the point here. It's not about who caused the show to get out of hand. The issue is that things got crazy and absolutely nothing was done about it despite all of the warning signs. Will concerts change after this? Following the tragic events at Astroworld, county leaders from Houston and Harris County got together and began discussing the future of concerts. Considering the magnitude of what had happened, it was clear that some things are going to have to change in order for large events like that to be able to continue. I mean, the tragedy has affected multiple shows in that area, causing some to lower their ticket sales as to not overcrowd the venue. Billy Joel had a show planned for the Minute Maid Park, and he ended up delaying the sale of tickets. Not much is known about the changes that they plan to implement to ensure that something like this never happens again. But one thing that was announced, and it's something that most concert goers won't directly notice, they're going to improve the communication between staff at the events. The details of any future events will also be discussed in a lot more detail between both the city, the county, and the venue or promoter. One thing that is particularly surprising is the fact that the mayor of Houston has not ruled out the possibility of another Astroworld taking place in the future at some point. He said, "What happens down the road, that will depend on the facts of the investigations that come from the review from the situation from top to bottom." This came as quite a shocker to a lot of people who believe that there would be absolutely no way that they would allow another Astroworld following the 9 deaths that had occurred. Not Travis Scott's first lawsuit for performing. Something that the media seems to keep pointing out is the fact that these lawsuits are not the first ones that the rapper has faced due to a performance gone awry.
Filed $1 million lawsuit Sunday against Travis Scott, Live Nation, and show organizers, referencing chaos at other Travis Scott concerts.
You see, at Travis's shows, he tends to want the crowd to turn up, much like every other performing artist out there. The difference though is that Travis tells his fans to rage.
You either get on this stage and rage or take your mother home, you understand?
And as a fan of concerts, I know that it's just a term used to say, go nuts, have fun, turn up. But to a lot of others, it sounds like he is inciting violence. Though this isn't the case, he still tends to get his crowd going too crazy, and at times, that has left him with a lawsuit or two to clean up. In one instance, Travis was allegedly sued for someone being injured after he told his fans to rush the stage.
I don't know if you're scared, I don't know if you're nervous, I don't know what it is, but if you want to get in this pit, this is your last chance right now. Whoa, here they come. Ray, Tyler, get it, get it.
This time though, he is currently facing lawsuits from around 200 or more people who attended the Astroworld event. Final thoughts. I hope anyone who lost their lives at the tragic event that night is resting in peace, and be sure to keep their families in your thoughts. Especially with the holidays coming up, this is a really tough time for them. As for what's going to happen to Travis and Drake, no one can be sure until they announce how the lawsuits are going. For now, be sure to subscribe to stay in tune with all of our hip-hop news and information. Be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss our next upload. Until next time, stay safe out there.